Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Oh my goodness, Batman fans! We are breaking in before the actual show starts. Here on We Are the Batman, because lo and behold, the day I thought would never come is coming. We got our first trailer for Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, which is still coming out December 20th, 2023, despite any and all forms of logic. But that, I guess, things that make sense just isn't really a thing anymore, Matt.
You know, I my thing, I've said it before, I said it again. This is their only billion-dollar movie in the entirety of the DCFU. I completely understand why you put it out there because you hope that happens again.
I'm not saying don't put it out, but you're putting it out in December and you're going to start promoting it in September. Push it
Yeah.
back to next year when you don't really have much going on. I mean, especially with the strike and everything's been halted. So, like, yeah, put it out next year when you've got nothing slated.
I think they want that 18-month gap
Probably
between.
need it. They probably, especially with the strike going on. Yeah, they
Well,
probably
I
need
just
it.
mean to get people's heads wiped. Like
Oh,
Aquaman's the
yeah.
end. This is over. There's nothing else. You give a good solid year before you release any other
Es-
movies.
Especially after what happened to Blue Beetle. That
And
makes a lot of
yeah,
sense.
I think that's what they're doing. They want to distance all of these films from Superman Legacy.
Because I think Blue Beetle has only just recently broken even. I think it just broke even the other day. Um, so we'll see what streaming looks like for that when it hits, which is soon. I think it's dropping in September on Max. I think at the end of the month. So we'll see. But we're here to talk about Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom trailer. We've both watched it, and we're just gonna break it down for a few minutes. We're not gonna do a reaction. Those aren't good on
No.
podcasts. And they're an absolute nightmare when it comes to video shows, especially Warner Brothers. They are not nice with the copyright hits on YouTube. They are not. That's why most reactors on YouTube don't do DC and Warner Brothers content, because the Animaniacs like keep it to themselves.
Yeah.
But yeah, Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom, it's coming. The trailer came out. Matt, I'm gonna be honest with you. I liked it. I didn't love it, but I liked this trailer. I dig what they're going for with this story, because it kind of, you know what it's giving me? It's giving me 1999's the Mummy with Brendan Fraser vibes.
I can see that. I can see that. I think I I read somewhere on Twitter, James One said, "Oh, it's a bromance," and I'm like, "It's a bromance? What are we talking about here?" So I started watching the trailer, and I'm just sitting here going, "Like, this looks like the same schlock as last time. I think I'm out." And then Patrick Wilson showed up,
Yep. Yep.
and I was like, "Oh, he actually gets to do something this time."
The
Okay,
first
I'm in.
the first half of the trailer, I was like, "What are we doing? What are we doing?" And then as soon as the plot kicks in the trailer, I was like, "Okay, no, I'm on board. All right,
Yeah.
okay, oof, all right." That was close. I was really scared for a sec.
Yeah, I still don't know if I'll see it in the theater, but
There's nothing else coming out in December, so maybe we'll see. I don't know. We're still trying to see if I can go 3 for 3 with December's getting COVID. So we're
there we go. There we
the
go.
third year. It'll be my third December in this house, and I've had COVID the last 2 Decembers. I've had COVID the last 2 Christmases and my birthday. Um, so if I'm not sick, I'll probably go see it in the theater, mostly just to celebrate not having COVID. But maybe that's how I get COVID this year. Maybe I get COVID from going to see Aquaman in the theater.
Yeah.
Weirder things have happened.
Yeah, I don't know if I was worried since I wasn't the biggest fan of the first one, but at the same time, I was like,
Fair.
I just want to like it. I
Yeah.
like Jason Momoa. I mean, so, but I will say this. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know why, but the costume just still looks ridiculous.
It's I'm a little bummed they did decide to go with the orange and green. I liked his armor from Justice League and BVS, that kind of that take on the 90s Grant Morrison Aquaman, because that was my Aquaman growing up, was the silver armor with the rock star look.
Yeah.
Um so based on some theories I have for what I saw in this trailer, we might still get another variation of that, but I'm not sure. Yeah, the costume does still look a little ridiculous. I think it looks best when it's a part of all the other crazy underwater shit
Yeah,
going on,
yeah,
because then it kind of blends it. It's when it's around other stuff that's not that kooky and zany that it really sticks out like a sore thumb.
yeah.
But
I
I feel like you can say that about any superhero costume, though.
sometimes, yeah. I will say this. Yep, no Amber Heard.
So here's what. So it's funny you mentioned that. And through the power of movie magic, you guys have no idea. We just edited out a huge pause that we had to take um, for a bathroom break. And while we were doing that, I pulled the trailer into my video editor and trimmed down just the times that Amber Heard is on screen. Not like face close up, just on screen somewhere.
Yeah,
4 seconds and 21 frames.
I didn't even see her.
And honestly, the only time you actually see her face is the last time she's in the trailer, and it's the shortest time in the trailer. And you just see her punch a window. I think it's from that same scene we see earlier in the trailer when Aquaman's trying to save like a transport or something.
Interesting.
Um, so, and that actually brings me to, I'm glad you actually brought that up because a lot of people are talking about that online. Because she's got less than 5 seconds of screen time. So as we all know, Amber Heard went through a very famous divorce slash legal proceeding with now
Slash
ex-husband,
dumpster fire.
with now ex-husband Johnny Depp. And there were claims made during the trial that basically her part was getting cut down in Aquaman 2 because of the stuff with Johnny Depp. Well, James Wan has said that no, the sequel was never meant to be have a focus on Mera and Aquaman. Like that was never the plan. The plan to have you be in the sequel less was always from day one. It was all the second movie was always meant to be about Arthur and Orm. Um, there were rumors that they were cutting her down in Aquaman 2 just because they had such bad chemistry in the first one, which I also would have believed. But and I think that actually came up in the trial testimony because I think James Wan had to testify.
Oh, jeez.
Or no, it was him. It was Walter Hamada had to because of the claim she was making about Warner Bros. And DC. But anyway, so it appears like it was always the plan to give her a reduced role in this, which is not the first time that's ever happened in the history of filmmaking that other characters get their part shortened in sequels because they're just not a part of the story. But also, if they did decide to lessen her part because of bad chemistry with Jason Momoa, or the fact that, let's be honest, they probably should have just fired and recasted her. Uh,
Yes.
uh, Tough shit, Amber Heard.
Yeah. It's not reducing your pay. Shut up.
Yeah, you're still getting paid a buttload of money. But no, dude, this looks cool. When James Wan talks about it being a bro trip, a bro road trip, a broad trip, if you will. Uh, don't no, don't no. You don't get to judge me. You Matthew Hasso don't get to judge me.
For you who doesn't watch it, I'm just shaking my head as like, no.
Shaking his head at me like that's the most embarrassing thing that anyone's ever said on this show. Pot meat kettle. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna
wow.
say there's a lot of cut stuff of me that's pretty
There's
embarrassing.
it's just, man.
Whoa.
Anyway, I'm leaving all this in.
Shawami. But anyway,
So that all that to say, the trailer looks cool, man. I'm I'm into it.
it yeah, I think like halfway I was like, oh, it's just lame. Like I said before, it's the same schlock. And then Patrick Wilson showed up. I'm like, I like me some Patrick Wilson.
I I
Maybe this will make me
I
go see
do.
it.
And he was one of the best parts of the first Aquaman movie. And frankly, Arthur and Orm's relationship isn't something. I mean, I didn't read a lot of Aquaman comics. I don't think that's something that's ever been explored a whole lot. after the Arthur takes over, like we get their backstory from how they came to be where they're at when they meet. But as far as their relationship goes, this interpersonal thing, this is something I don't think I saw coming. And it's a really intriguing idea that he's turning to his, let's be honest, evil half brother
Yeah.
for tips on how to be a better king because he's not having the time of his life.
Yeah. No, I think the new 52, when I think it was Jeff Johns came in there and did a bunch of like kind of brought Aquaman into being like an actual viable hero
Yeah.
and not go crazy 90s with him. There was some of that in there because I think at one point he has like that was part of the Justice League where he has to like fight to get the kingdom back. And
Yeah.
no, so yeah, I think it looks cool. And again, like I can't say enough. I like my son Patrick Wilson, and he was
Well,
critically horribly underused in the first one.
he's horribly underused in everything, even in Watchmen where he's the lead. It's like use him more, use your lead actor more.
Yeah,
Well, it's funny you mentioned the New 52 Jeff Johns run because again, in new DC fashion that we're a big fan of, the end of the trailer has a splash of 3 comic runs they encourage everyone to read to prepare for this movie, and the first one on there is volume 1 of Jeff Johns Aquaman New
yeah, the
52,
trench.
the trench, which was one of the coolest parts from the first movie. From the moment the movie came out, they were already talking about how there were ideas for a HBO Max series about the trench. And now it's going to be the trench is going to be a big part of the big antagonistic force, it feels like, along with Black Manta, who we'll get to in a second, for this movie. So we might need to go pick this up and check it out. Because who doesn't love an excuse to read some comic books? I mean, honestly.
I've read it, so I'm good. I'll read it
Oh,
again.
I have. I think I read it once, so I might want to go back and reread it again. They also have Aquaman: War for the Throne, which I'm not familiar with, but the cover art is Jason Momoa, basically.
Yeah.
And then the other one they have is actually Volume 1 of Aquaman's Rebirth run, which I did not read. So, because there was a lot of stuff going on during Rebirth, I could not get to it all.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if I don't think I think by the time Rebirth came out, I was kind of like, whatever. So I don't think I read it.
Everything I read in Rebirth, I very much enjoyed. Their Nightwing, Green Arrow, and Constantine runs in particular were chef kiss. So I guess I'm gonna have to, not a sentence I thought I'd say this year. I guess I'm gonna have to go buy some Aquaman comics.
There we go. There we go.
See, didn't have that on my 2023 bingo card.
Yep.
Look, man, if Aquaman, like, box office be damned, if I have half as much fun with Aquaman 2 as I did with Blue Beetle, I'll be happy. You know what I mean? Like I want these movies to make money and I want them to be successful because I want the actors and the writers and everyone to continue to work and for this stuff to be successful because I'm a fan of it. But at the end of the day, I just want to have fun at the movies. I know Shazam was not a popular movie. Shazam 2 was not popular and didn't do well. I had a fun fucking time watching Shazam 2, and Blue Beetle was a blast, and I liked The Flash quite a bit. So I just want Aquaman 2 to be fun.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
And look, my wife likes Jason Momoa. I get a kick out of him. This may be one of those things where it's like, you know what? Nothing's out. Let's go.
Matt, I don't know how to tell you this, but everyone's wife likes Jason Momoa.
Oh, I'm aware.
But also, ladies, all of your husbands also like Jason Momoa. and to all my other like gay and lesbian, to everyone, your partner loves Jason Momoa. We all love him. Let's all stop pretending like, no, I wasn't looking at. No, yes, I know you were looking at Jason Momoa because I was looking at Jason Momoa. We all do it. We know what it is. We get it. It's the abs. It's the abs. It's the abs.
And the hair and the personality.
Look, all I'm saying is People Magazine took one look at shirtless Jason Momoa waist deep in water in Justice League in 2017 and said, yeah, Blake Shelton's the sexiest man alive.
Yeah, totally makes sense.
Anyway. All right, so that's what we think of the Aquaman 2 trailer. We'd love to know what you guys think. So make sure you let us know on Twitter at We Are the Batman. I'm not going to sign off though, because this was just us talking about the Aquaman trailer. Let's go ahead and get into our full episode for this week. Enjoy. Hey everybody, welcome back to We Are the Batman. I'm Mike.
And this is Matthew.
Guys, today is September 15th. That means tomorrow is September 16th, and tomorrow is Batman Day. Long live the Bat is what is on DC.com's banner right now. And DC Warner Brothers have got some fun stuff planned to celebrate for Batman Day. We thought it would be fun to for this week to just go through some of that and see what they're doing and see if that determines what we're going to be doing.
And we did already discuss in a previous episode the whole Dark Knight trilogy Nolan thing. So if you listen to us and you're like, "Hey, why didn't they talk about that?" It's because we already did.
We already did. Yeah, the Dark Knight trilogy is showing in theaters tomorrow. Check your theaters. You got to look for it. It's not like a big banner event, but yeah, they're screening the Dark Knight trilogy as an all day thing. You ready to hear about some of this stuff? This is the DC Warner Bros. Are doing here, Matt.
Hell yes.
All right, so. This has got me super excited because I can add this to my collection. Batman Mask of the Phantasm finally being released on 4K.
There we go. Good night.
Yes.
Why is that not already a thing?
Dude, it just hit Blu-ray like a couple of years ago.
Weird.
I know, and now I can add this to my collection of Mask of the Phantasm mediums because I have it on so many formats because this movie rules. So that's pretty cool. We've also got some other movies that are getting re-released in theaters for Batman Day. These are going to be happening over in the UK and Ireland specifically. So if you're listening to us over there, as I know we have some listeners over there, but over in the UK and Ireland, The Dark Knight, Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, and 1989's Batman are all being re-released in theaters for Batman Day, which is pretty freaking cool, if you ask me. How do you feel about those? Because you are not a big fan. You have not seen Joker.
I've not seen Joker. I'm not a big fan of 89's Batman, but I will say this. Considering you just had him in The Flash, considering there is probably an entire fandom of Batman that has never gotten to see that movie in the theater, I think it's a smart choice. Like, I'm of the mind that I still can't believe theaters don't re-release movies more often. It costs nothing for them to do that.
It's one of those things that those what do you call them? Those Fathom events that the theater chains do every once in a while. They'll do those. That's how I mean they did one with Blade Runner, they did one with like Wrath of Khan. They've done with a lot of things where like, yeah, they do like a 1 day re-release, but yeah, you're right. Like do like a weekend or a week long, or even just a sporadic, re-release some classic stuff, show it. Because that kind of stuff seems to get relegated to being just like community center events. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's where like I always crack up about like, yeah, and you're right. It's like community center events, but I always think about like when everybody's freaking out about COVID and no movies could be made, like, dude, somebody with enough time and enough energy could go and like what they did with Star Trek, like the original Star Trek show, they upgraded all of the graphics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, get something like The Last Starfighter. I really like that movie. But the graphics are so, and it's not distractingly dated, but because it's that era, it's cool. But I'm just like, how did somebody not, how couldn't it cost that much money to upgrade those things to current tech and just release it in the theater? You can't tell me you wouldn't have tons of people, because I think that's the flip side is like we were talking about with Batman in the last episode is like, hey, I've seen these movies ad nauseum. Do I really want to go see them in the theater? When they re-released Star Wars, the original Star Wars trilogy in the mid to late 90s, I went to see them even though I had the cassettes at home and had watched them and knew every movie by I'd memorized it, but it's because they had done new things with the movie.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if Last Starfighter qualifies as some great classic, but I mean,
I think it's got enough of a cult following.
yeah, people would go see that. And I think that's
Oh,
where
yeah.
something like this, like when you have a fandom that haven't seen the theater and there are people who love going to the movies, re-release these films. It's costing you nothing to do that.
Yeah. Morbius did it.
Yeah.
And they made a whole $20 in doing it. No, I totally agree. Especially these cult classic films like these are, 89. And yeah, you're right. Say what you will about the Flash, Michael Keaton. Yes, it was so good. So, riding the hype of that. So DC is also for Batman Day. They're doing like a whole Batman month thing on their merch store. Which is
nice.
really cool. And there's some cool shit in here. I'm gonna you kids at home can't see this, but I'm gonna share my screen with Matt here.
Am I gonna turn into that GIF from Futurama? Go ahead and take my money.
Yeah, probably. Well, kind of, considering one of these is a watch that costs $100,000. But
no, I'm not a watch guy anymore.
But that being said, this $1,000 Batman premium format figure is kind of calling my name. Is a scale replica of the Batarang as well as the grapnel gun, looking pretty good there.
Okay.
Yes. Those Wayne cufflinks. I've worn cufflinks twice in my life. I want these cufflinks so bad.
Only twice?
Yeah, just for two. Once for prom and once for my brother's wedding.
Okay.
I don't dress up very often. Or at least let me rephrase that. I go out of my way to not be put in situations where I have to get dressed up very often. I'm a podcaster and a comedian. I like I like jeans, and I like my t-shirt of Cookie Monster doing unspeakable things to someone in a bathroom.
All right, I need that picture, but let's continue.
Yeah. Anyway, they've also got a great, because in celebration of like the Mask of the Phantasm getting the 4K release, they've got a bunch of exclusive stuff and on sale or just introduced for Batman the Animated Series collection, including these really dope thermal water bottles here.
Oh, wow.
But the thing that caught my eye, I'm gonna scroll down. And it's gonna be the first thing you see when I get to it.
I'm looking.
I won't even have to say what it is.
Shit.
It's for those who can't see, it's the grapnel launcher from Batman the Animated Series.
Oh, is that what you were looking at? I was looking at something.
What were you looking at?
The Neil Adams poster.
Really?
I've had that grapple gun in my Etsy favorites for like 4 years.
Oh, have you really?
Yeah. Well, because remember,
funny.
like I cosplayed Batman for a while, and I was
true.
really close to buying it.
Well, as somebody who as a kid was buying every Batman toy that Toys R Us had on their shelves, you can imagine the chagrin I had at 5 years old when they never made a toy of the grapple gun from Batman the Animated Series.
That is pretty slick. I'm not even gonna lie. I'll probably still buy it anyway.
I absolutely would. But at 5 years old, when I was begging my mother for every Batman toy, to me, that just feels like money left on the cutting room floor. Like how that's just missed money right there. But this thing looks so cool.
That is pretty sweet. Can you look at the Neil Adams poster for me?
The Neil Adams poster? Yeah.
The other one, the one when he's in blue. There you go. Okay.
Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong monitor, so I can't see my mouse.
You're still drooling at the other thing.
I'm also still drooling at the other thing. Look at that, man. Look how good that is. This is terrible podcasting because nobody listening right now can see what the hell
we will put the links on the episode.
We'll put the links on the episode, I promise. There's some other cool shit. They've got like this film cells from the Dark Knight. There's a whole collection of other Batman stuff. This thing's pretty cool. This like action figure 6-pack here with a bunch of different Batmans in it. A lot of cool stuff. This has turned into a whole commercial for the DC store, but I'm not really mad at it, to be honest with you.
Dude, sometimes those toys, like the kids' toy, I got my kids like because I needed a piece of it was from the Batman.
Yeah.
It was the mask and the gauntlets and the belt.
Yeah.
And I wanted just the little thing that was like the little red eye lens for.
Oh, yeah.
And the freaking gauntlet. Like I was like, if I ever do Batman, I'm using this. It had the arm and you pressed a button in your palm, and the grapple gun would go like click click and fling out into your hand on an arm, like it does in the movie.
Oh, nice.
Except for it was bright red. But I was like, dude, I need to find another one of these to do what I want to do with it. But anyway, no,
Um,
dude, I love when they do this kind of stuff. Like, dude, Batman Day, give me Batman stuff for me to blow money on. That's
well,
perfect.
and look, we are not above comic books on this show, and as usual, they're doing some cool comic book exclusive comic book releases at comic book stores for Batman Day. One of which is Batman Catwoman: The Gotham War Prelude Batman Day Special Edition #1. They're also doing Batman and the Joker, the Deadly Duo #1, and Batman 608, which is what kicked off the iconic Hush storyline. I'm bringing this up for a specific reason.
Okay.
James Gunn is all about synergy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, because there was a little bit of a Hush tease in The Batman,
Okay.
do you feel like this might be, when you look at these titles and look at the characters involved, Batman, Catwoman, Batman, the Joker, Batman, the beginning of the Hush storyline, this sounds like this could be woven into stuff going on with either Matt Reeves' The Batman Part 2 or whatever they have planned for the story with James Gunn's Batman.
I'm not sure.
Or am I reading way too much into this?
The only reason I would say you might be reading a little too much into it is I don't know if James Gunn has anything to do with their merchandising side.
He doesn't, but Jim Lee recently took over as the head of everything at DC that isn't the films, basically.
Yeah.
I would imagine that James Gunn has probably had some conversations because, again, they're not above promoting the comics and stuff with their movie trailers.
Yeah.
And since they can't really, like, do stuff with movies right now, everything's halted, nothing can be promoted.
Yeah.
Kind of a sneaky way to start laying some breadcrumbs for what's coming next.
It's possible. The only thing, like,
just let my conspiracy theory loving brain have this.
I'm sorry. I just got a DM from James Gunn and he said, yes, Mike is right. Please don't talk about it on your podcast.
Too late. We're talking about it.
Yeah. I'm very intrigued to see how, like, there's so many questions about what James Gunn's doing with Batman that I have.
Yeah.
And we haven't gone to lunch in a couple months. So I'm going to have to wait a while.
I know his last check bounced. The checks that he writes us to say good things, to nice things about him. The checks bounced. So that's not all they've got coming out with comic books, though. They're doing the hardcover collection of the Batman '89 comics.
Oh, nice.
Have you read those at all? I know you're not. I know the movie's not your favorite. Have you read the '89 comics?
I haven't read any of those. The Wonder Woman 66, the Batman 89. I really haven't, and I should.
The 66 comics are good. The 89 comics are stellar. They are. It's really. It's like, man. It's basically like, what if Batman '89 were made today? It would have been this good.
Gotcha.
They're also doing Batman Gargoyle of Gotham #1. The DC Universe Infinite subscription. They're also doing, we mentioned the movies getting released in theaters, and then just Max is going to have an entire collection of stuff on Max all day for Batman Day. And also if your kids watch Bat Wheels on Cartoon Network, they're going to have new episodes of Bat Wheels.
Yeah, I keep avoiding the toy section of the Bat Wheels things. I don't think my daughter's that into it, but at the same time, the random things she wants, I'm like, nope, we're not going near that section because it's stupid.
Well, and if you're someone who uses YouTube Kids to help with your kids during the day, if you're like a stay-at-home parent or something like that, first of all, it's school season. Your kids should be in school. But if they're maybe too young or they're home, if you're someone who uses YouTube Kids with your parents, DC Kids YouTube channel is going to have all kinds of Batman programming on there, stuff for like Bat Wheels and DC Super Friends, and so you'll have that there as well. And then there's just some other Batman Day experiences that are going on in select cities around the world. All that info is up online, of course, and then just other kinds of merch and stuff you can get. So there's a ton of look, guys, there's a ton of ways you can go spend money on Batman Day. Let's be honest, it's Batman Day. That's what it's all about. It's spending money on Batman stuff. But there's some really cool collectible fun stuff and also just fun experiences to go do for Batman Day. Look, if there was ever a reason to celebrate being a nerd, Batman Day is a pretty good one, I think.
Yeah, and look, I know we don't talk about comics as much as we probably should, but at the same time, go visit your local comic book store. They're going to have stuff on Batman Day. Go check out the current run. Jorge Jimenez's art on the Batman series right now is outstanding.
Yeah, if you're like me and you've got a local comic book store that does all kinds of just specials and deals on things left and right, I guarantee they're going to have other stuff going on Batman Day other than just what we've talked about. I know mine will. So go bother your local comic book store, because these are great collectible items, and they're also just good reading. There's a lot of good reading in here, and it's just it's a great way to keep celebrating this dope ass character that we all love so much. That's why we're here right this very moment. I'm not sure how I'm celebrating yet. I haven't quite decided, but I will report back.
Well, I will say this: you showing me that damn grapple gun is making me want to redo my Nightwing outfit,
bro.
It's
just making me want to swipe my credit card. All it's making me want to do.
I was literally yesterday going, maybe it's time for me to try Nightwing again, because I've done it 3 different times and I've never been happy with my suit.
Yeah.
So it's time.
It's one of those. It's always bugged me ever since I was a kid. I was like, why did they never make a grapple gun toy? Why?
Yeah.
Why? I never understood it. And it was money left on the floor. Anyway, guys, that's everything that's going on tomorrow for Batman Day. So please go out, go celebrate, go spend your money if you have it to spend it.
Heck yes.
Or just give it to us. We like money. Like we said, James Gunn's checks have stopped clearing. So
there we go.
So please pay it. Anyway, guys, hopefully that gives you some inspiration about some things you want to do for Batman Day. We'd love to hear how you're celebrating Batman Day, so please let us know on Twitter. You can find the show on Twitter at We Are The Batman. You can find me on Twitter at Mr. Mike Shea.
You can find me at Mr. J Ninja. Let me know if I should do Nightwing again, go back to Batman, which should I cosplay? Which should my little brother Mike cosplay? Let us know.
I don't. No, absolutely not. That's going to do it for us here on We Are The Batman. We'll see you guys again next time. Same bat time, same bat podcast channel.
Bye-bye.